to the Making Up the Numbers podcast. The Making Up the Numbers podcast is sponsored by Hope Technology, J-Tech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Schwal, and the world's finest independent mountain bike magazine, Singletrack.
And just like that, it's December. And have we got a Christmas cracker of an episode for you? First up, we're going to be rounding up those team rumours ahead of the team launches in January by running a mock draft. Then we're going to be joined by the Fighting Irish, two of the wildest downhill racers on planet Earth at the moment, Oisin Callaghan and Ronan Dunne. Emmy's on holiday in Spain and can't join us for this one, so it's just Jack and I. But let's get into it. Jack, you've been out in Malta doing some street racing. How did that go?
Yeah, it was a very different experience, that's for sure. It was scary for sure, like something I've not done before. And to be honest, like we didn't really do any prep for it. And looking back, like I was pipped to the post for third by like 1 second. And I'd like, for a joke, cut a Magic Mary down and cut all the middle knobbles out. And on hindsight, that was a really, really bad move. Like if I was doing it again, I would run a pair of the Alberts, probably the 2.6 ones, to give myself maximum kind of grip and comfort on the bike. So lesson learned if I ever do any more. It was nice to beat Slavic, though. I was the only person to beat him in a stage, so that was cool because he's an absolute machine. It was fun. We certainly had a good time. Beautiful place.
So is it more terrifying than racing off-road?
It was, in the sense that it was like a totally different experience and something I'm not used to. So when I race off-road, it's just kind of autopilot now, whereas that was like, every stage was like 1 or 2 practice runs and then like, okay. The scariest thing was a lot of the surfaces were really, it was like glass with butter on it. So it was dry, but it was so slippery that you had to be really careful where you braked and where you turned. And it's not something that I'd get into for enjoyment, shall we say. I'd happily do more if I was being paid. But it's not like I'd since coming back, I haven't rang Ruben and gone, oh yeah, let's get out and like send it down some stairs. Like, not a single part of me has wanted to revisit that kind of riding. So, it was fun. It was different. I'll definitely do more if the opportunities are there, but there'll have to be a paycheck sat at the end waiting for me.
Yeah, there's no way I'd do it because it's just like you look around and you're like everywhere. If you crash, it's going to hurt, innit?
They're doing it in t-shirts. Like I had all my armor on. Like I was like, give me more. Like.
So you've mentioned the tires. Tell us a bit about how you set the bike up differently.
Hard, just like rock hard. Just went, I think Ruben had me crying because I went like 35 PSI in the back and about 30 in the front. Ruben was like 45 PSI in the back and high 30s in the front simply because he didn't check. He just like blew them up really hard, did the first day. And then in the morning on the second day, he was like, maybe I'll check what these are. And he almost had like 50 PSI in his rear tire, just like pinging off everything. And then the suspension just roughly the same, but just a little bit harder again, just to carry speed. It feels like shit, whatever you do. So you might as well just have it rolling fast.
Then you've been out in Portugal for a family holiday. Good chill out there.
Yeah, it was nice. Really nice. It's the first time I've been to my house since buying it in April for not work. So it was just, it was just so nice. Like we've got a nice plot there and we had some good weather. It wasn't crazy warm, but the sun was out every day. And the city we're about 8 minutes from has the world's biggest Father Christmas, and it has the world's biggest snowman, and they go mental for like Christmas lights and stuff. And obviously we had Blake with us, who's 2 now. So he's just starting to cotton on to what's going on around him and get really involved in stuff. So yeah, just really nice. We had two friends with us and their son, who's the same age as Blake. So they were with us for like the first half of the week. So it was really nice. And then second half of the week, just kept chilling as well, but also got some stuff done on the house just to get us ready. We got a team camp in January. So, and obviously turned 36. Can you believe that?
Wow. I saw that. I'd say happy birthday. I didn't wish you happy birthday.
Closer to 40 than 30. That's scary, eh? one of my riders today said to me, he went, I forget you're over 30. I was like, oh, brownie points.
So tell us a bit about the team for next year.
Yeah, so wow, where do I start? So we're getting bigger. We were going to be 12, and as of today, we're going to be 13, including me. So if we're thinking unlucky 13, we'll just go for 12. But yeah, 12 plus me. 4 elites, 6 juniors, 2 youths, and we're even taking a juvenile, just simply because he's so good. Coached him for a while. I don't want anyone else to get in before we give him the opportunity to get into the team. So, and he's got lovely family as well. So I feel very comfortable bringing them in, even though he's quite young. So, covering every category for the first time since we started the team in 2015. Focus is going to be full Portugal Cup. Try and do a full European Cup series. Those dates come out this week, so fingers crossed they will align for us. Something I am changing is I will be probably doing the full season from Portugal. So expensive, obviously, to take the vans across the Channel Tunnel every time, and now I've got a big vehicle in Portugal. We'll potentially do the whole season based from there and run our camps from there. So say there's a European Cup in France, we'll potentially do a camp Monday to Wednesday at the racing centre and then travel across to the European Cup in the van, fly the riders maybe. Logistics we'll figure out. And then some select events, obviously. I think out of 13 riders, 11 of them are from the UK, 2 of them are foreign. One's Portuguese and the other one I'll keep close to my chest for now. But they'll do some some UK nationals, obviously. Yeah. I don't think I'll be at any. I certainly can't do the first 2, can't do Fort William. But yeah, so it's going to be busy. I'll try and get to Crankworks again. And I'm not sure about the mega, but it might be a little New Year's resolution this year that if I do arrange with SS Until that I'm doing the mega, I might actually train for it this year. I've never been fit. And
out on a road bike?
I won't go road bike, but watt bike for sure. I've actually been on my watt bike. I looked at, honestly, this is true. I looked in the mirror last week on my 36th birthday, bordering on alcoholic. I basically drink every day now to deal with stress. I've got, as we were just saying before the podcast, I've got more than one business of my own. I've got a kid, so obviously stress levels are always high. Yeah. So I drink almost every day. And I looked in the mirror on my 36th birthday. I'm obviously still in decent shape, but I was just like, fuck this. This is having it. So I haven't had a drink since my birthday, which is a week, which as bordering alcoholic is quite a long time.
Yeah.
And since then, I think I've done, I don't even know. It's a week and it's probably 8 to 9 gym sessions. I've been on the watt bike twice. I go away on the 28th of this month. So I decided I've got like 2.5 weeks to absolutely rip it and, get a starting point into next year. Yeah. And then if I do decide to do the mega, I am going to train for it because there's been fit and then there's been fit like those guys are. And it would just be interesting to not get obliterated on the flat section and the climb and just see how it is. So yeah, it's going to be a busy season, big team. I'm really pleased with the lineup. Last year we went into the year with certainly a couple of riders that I wasn't so sure on. And I'm learning my lessons. The gift of foresight would be nice, but the next best thing is learning your lessons from your mistakes. So I think I've got a good lineup there of nice riders, fast riders, nice parents. Got a couple that I'm super excited to add in. We had 2 leavers and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new ones. So yeah, super excited.
Excellent. Buzzing for you.
Thanks, mate.
Well, there's nothing as festive as a thank you post from a team to a rider and vice versa. So let's chat 2025. What I've done is I've run a mock draft of the 2025 teams based on what we think might be happening. I should stipulate now that some of this is rumours and hearsay, and there are a lot of riders we still don't know about. And one of those adding to some teams could make a huge difference in the position. Also, I've not gone into huge detail as it's so up in the air at the moment. It's, there could be other riders that I've forgotten on teams that have a few points. It's just a bit of speculative fun. But before we start, I just want to issue a full apology to Felix Griffiths. On the last episode, we talked about Felix's family potentially buying him space on the syndicate, and his dad, Mark, and Petey have both been in touch with Jack and I to say that simply wasn't the case. In the 6 years of doing this podcast, I think that's the first time we've got one wrong that we could have easily checked, that we should have checked, but we didn't. We'd heard it from so many sources, and it had been around for so long that I think we all just assumed it to be true. But it isn't. So our bad. We're tremendously sorry for any upset this caused, and we all wish Felix the very best on the syndicate next season and beyond. Right then, the top-ranked team, I think, is Comm Sallar Muckoff with just over 4,000 points. You've got Amar and Tabone in there, Loris Vergier, Dylan Maples. Not sure if Dylan will be there, but that's probably one of the conundrums. Miriam Nicole, Max Alran, and Till Alran. How do you think Loris is going to settle into that team, Jack? Who's number one?
I mean, well, Loris is world champ, isn't he? So
nah, he's not number one on that team.
No, I'm only messing. I think it's gonna be very interesting to see how that dynamic works. Whether they clearly operate as two individuals. I think we've seen that in the past. Like, I mean, the one that springs to my mind is when Danny Hart and Matt Walker were on Madison together. They clearly operated as two individuals with their own mechanics. They never practiced together. They had very different styles. Matt eases into practice, or did back then. Whether it's different now, who knows? But Danny used to go out the gate fast and then do like as many runs as he could. So they operated very differently, and whether Loris and Amaury will do that or whether we'll see them working together. I mean, they're French, so I would probably say we'll see them working together. And they're a force to be reckoned with. Let's just say that. I mean, those two together on that team with all that support. If you were putting your money on, World Cup overall winner and World Champ winner, you'd have to certainly select one of those to be coming from Comm Sallar Muckoff. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I remember Amaury and Tabone worked really well together, didn't they?
Come through as a junior though, didn't he? So he's already going to have that respect for Amaury in like a hierarchy kind of way, whereas which can obviously go the other way. Like I for sure know that, but these guys are coming in as two big dogs, and it's whether they bang heads or not. It's going to be super. I'm really excited to see it happening. That's for sure.
Yeah. Next, we have the YT mob with just over 3,500 points. Valley, obviously, awesome season this year. Oisin, we think Andres Kolb's going there. Casper Woolley, and I've put Jack Moir in. He's got 90 UCI points. Shana Hearn stepping back from racing World Cups this week. Do you think we're going to see a bit of that this off season?
Yeah, we've got to, because one, there's going to be people without rides, and two, there's surely going to be people just being like, well, there's not a lot of point me going, and I just hope that a lot of people do what we're doing, and see this as an opportunity to grow the European Cups and the Monster Cups and Portuguese Cups, and I want to say UK National Series, but Jesus Christ, come on, organisers, you need to sort your shit out before anybody tries to raise the profile of those events. So yeah, hopefully, despite riders moving away from World Cups, it will just make everything else start to get bigger, because hopefully they've got to go somewhere. They're not just going to go, right, see ya.
Well, when I looked today, when I was compiling this, I went and looked, and I think I got down to 400 riders with over 40 UCI points in the men's.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 sheets of 40, which is, we're looking here at 20 teams of 4 average, do you reckon? So
yeah.
It's, so let's say it's 100 riders. There's 300 there that, it won't be quite 300 really, because there'll be more men here, but there's a lot of riders to go around there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just down to 40 points. So next we have Canyon, which we think is going to be Troy Brosnan, Lucas Shaw, Henry Kiefer, Marine Cabarrou, and possibly Henry Kerr, and Aletha Ostgaard, the young American Judy rider. That's a strong team, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the way Troy finished the season. If he comes out swinging next year, then it's going to be interesting to see where we left off. Just something as well about the YT mob, like with Valley, like it's going to be interesting next year to see if Valley starts getting pushed harder by some of these young riders that are coming through.
Yeah,
that's potentially going to be an exciting year to see if it's not such a cakewalk for her anymore.
Yeah, 100%. It's the Canyon team. It's a very, very strong team. But outside of Marine, is there a... Well, I was going to say, is there a race winner? But then Troy won the last round, didn't he?
Yeah. There you go.
I'll probably cut that bit. Next, we have Specialized Gravity. 3 riders, Loic Bruni, Finn Isles, and Jordan Williams. Incredible numbers to achieve with just 3 riders. I believe, having seen Loic's Insta last week, they might have a new bike of some kind.
Oh, really? No, I haven't seen that.
He posted something that said new bike goes well. I mean, I don't know what was wrong with the old one, but...
Yeah, probably like changed a bolt or something.
Next, we have Giant. 2,222 points, roughly. So we've got Remy Therion. Remy had an awesome
Does Remy not have a brother they can just bring in just for banter?
I know. That's what, well, there is something on Vital that says that Remy Mayer-Smith might be going to pivot, but I don't know if that's the case. So we've got Remy Therion, we've got Luke Mayer-Smith, we've got Remy Mayer-Smith, then we've got Jacob Jewett and Dane Jewett.
Okay.
That's a big move over to Giant, isn't it, from Pivot for the Jewett brothers? Yeah,
definitely a surprising one. I didn't see that coming.
Is it a step up? I mean, it's just...
I would say it's a step across, maybe.
Yeah, sideways. I'd say that.
Both teams are good. I'd just say it's just a move. Yeah, nothing particularly exciting about it, but yeah, interesting.
I think Jacob Jewett's got real potential.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the way he rides that Canadian Open track, and I said this when we did the podcast talking about him, like if he can start to channel that into the other tracks, then he's clearly got the speed, because I've ridden that track and it's super challenging, long, rough, and he smokes everyone. So
needs more tracks like that. Then we've got Mondraker. We don't think there's really going to be any change. Ronan, obviously Dakota, and Dak and Ryan Pinkerton. Possibly rumours of Heather Wilson coming in there. She was on. I think she was on. Was she on Mondraker? Did she ride a Mondraker?
She was on the Young Guns.
Yeah, so, but was she riding a Mondraker for it? I think she was.
Yeah.
So that'd be like a natural move, wouldn't it, to go there? But then I've also heard, well, we've been talked about from the start about her going to Reese's team, haven't we? So who knows? Then 7th, we have Orbea FMD with Phoebe Gale, Tony Seagrave, and Martin Mays. You'd have to think, I mean, they've got a lot of points. They've got over 2,000 points there. But you'd have to think they'd probably add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this before. Like, I feel like Martin's just a strange move. Like, there's so many sick downhillers that they could have took a gamble on, or you know what I mean? I just don't get it.
I think when he signed,
he's
coming from Orbea, doesn't he?
You told me this last time. Yeah, I've just repeated this. Sorry, guys.
I think he comes from part of the part with the furniture.
Yeah, so basically what you said makes sense. Like, why are they not adding to it? Or you've missed what's he called? Who's on there? What his name is escaping me.
Oliver Zoir.
Yeah, is he moving on? Is he?
I don't know.
Because he was injured, wasn't he? So
he was. Maybe he's staying there.
They're standing by him, and he's. I mean, yeah, you would have thought he'd probably stay in there.
Yeah. Next we have, and this is a difficult one to work out how many points they've got. We have Norco Factory Racing. So we believe Danny Hart is going to Norco. I think that's more than a rumor. I presume that's like replacing Greg Minor. Then Bodie Kuhn, Lucas Cruz, Gracie Hemstreet, and then if they need points, they could probably register Kirk McDowell with 139 and Greg Minor, who currently has 384.
Oh, they'll 100% stick them on.
Do you reckon?
100%.
Yeah.
Why would you not? I mean, certainly Kirk still races World Cups every now and again, and he's not announced any kind of retirement. And then why would you not use Greg's points? He might fancy a go. You never know.
Oh, I don't think so.
I can tell you from this year, it's hard. and it's going to be it's going to be a lot harder for him than it was for me. So
I don't think he'll be. I don't think he's going to be racing World Cups.
No, I don't
think
either.
He's retired. That's the thing. Like, he's retired. Is it almost like a not disrespectful, but do you know what I mean? Like, to use he's made this thing that he's retired. If they start putting his name in there just to use his points, is that a bit disrespectful to his record, or?
What, from the team?
Yeah.
Well, it's his team, so it'd be his choice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to need the points. They're in the middle there.
It's more, is it disrespectful to other teams that you're essentially cheating because there's a rider bringing in 300 odd points that isn't racing? So it's like the grey area, I guess. They'll probably some point down the line, years to come, put a rule in that if somebody announces their retirement, then they're not allowed to be registered on a team the following year. They'll probably write that in. Well, that's literally, I was just about to say, like, if you'd asked me either before we knew about Danny or any time in the last 10 years, when Greg Minnaar retires, which rider would you say would come in as like his replacement's not the word we're after, because Greg's going to be like I am with my team, and like Petey's with the syndicate, and like other riders are with their teams when they step down. He's the coach of the riders.
Yeah.
Danny is just not the person I expected to come in and him and Greg be working together. And that's no disrespect to either of them. It's just not something I expected to see. I thought it would be like a Lackey Stevens McNabb kind of character, very, young, like showing huge potential, whole career in front of them, and then come in and Greg nurture like he did with Lucas Shaw on the syndicate. Danny's 34, I think. Like, it's just a surprise.
They need points though, don't they?
And maybe Bodie Kunn and Lucas Cruz are those two guys, and they're just bringing Danny in to just go and do your own thing. Maybe Greg won't be working with Danny, and I'm looking at this the wrong way around, as you say. Could just be bring Danny in. He's the lead rider. He's the points guy. Greg works with the younger riders. So
I think for me, it's bringing Danny in is some people sell bikes in my head. Like Greg Minnaar sold bikes. People rode bikes because Greg Minnaar rode them. And I think Danny's in that category as well. There are other riders who win races 100%. Who don't sell bikes. So Danny would have been I think a shoe-in to go to Nuke Proof when Sam retired, if they were still going, because he was straight in there. Let's do some Danny Hart handlebars, some Danny Hart pedals. It's that legend status, isn't it? And
100%.
I think Danny is a legend. It's good to see him back on a full factory team, full factory support for next season. Best of luck, Danny. Next, we have Tre Factory Racing, all change. Well, pretty much all change. Matt Walker, Lackey Stevens McNabb, Ollie Davis, and Sasha Ernest, who obviously was there last year. Good strategy to change everything?
Who knows? It depends what the dynamic was, I guess. I'm certainly excited by the lineup. Like, I'm so happy to see Matt doing something else. Like, change is sometimes good. He's been on Madison since he was like 12, and he must be 25, something like that. 24, 25. So I'm so happy to see Matt just riding for a different team. I think fresh bike, fresh pit, fresh outlook. The way he was riding at Mont Saint Anne shows he still got it. So it'll be nice to see him standing back on the top step. And then obviously the Lackey and Ollie, two young, exciting riders.
Yeah, I think cool. I think somebody told me at one of the races that Will Longdon had gone above and beyond to try and make sure all his riders had a ride next season and run good teams.
Sure he did. Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah. Well, they'll be like family, won't they? Will's been, as I say, he's known Matt since he was like 11, 12. So 100%.
Yeah. I mean, the Trek team, until Loris won Worlds, it wasn't going well, was it? And then he walks out the door with winning the big one, But I think that's an exciting team for next year. 10th place, we have Scott Factory Downhill, Benoit Coulange, Gonzalo Bandera, Ethan Crack, Dylan Levesque, and Vicky Clavel. A new gambler on the horizon, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I mean, last year, a super underperforming team with three riders who showed the year before that they could perform. I was really excited to see how Ethan and Gonzalo would do. And obviously for injuries and whatever, they didn't perform. So I think with those four guys, you've got every chance of like having a killer season. Let's just hope that they have a little bit more luck than they did this year.
Yeah, it's I can't remember the last male rider who did really well on Scott.
Yeah.
I
mean, I was about to say Florent Payet's world champ, second place, but he was on a Mondraker.
Yeah. Well, Dean Lucas, was that before? No, he did well at Intense, didn't he?
Yeah, did Dean do well at Intense and then move to Scott?
Yeah, then he moved to Scott, yeah.
Off the back of it, yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Next we have Comm Sallar Les Ors with Austin Dooley, Lisa Bauman, and Arise Van Leuven. Going to be very interesting to see Arise move up to Elite next season.
Yeah, definitely. After the way she rode this year, it's she's going to be one of the riders pushing Valley. Where was Austin last year?
He was on one of the other Comm Sallar teams.
On a different Comm Sallar team, and he's moving there. Okay,
I think so. Yeah, he's a good rider, isn't he? He goes under the radar.
Austin, yeah, really good. He started to step it up a couple of years ago, and
you have to think they might add to that as well. Comm Sallar Les Ors.
I mean, with the amount of money it is to be a team,
yeah.
From a guy's side, I mean, Austin's got his work cut out there, and he needs somebody with him. Obviously, you've got two girls there that could produce some good results, but from a guy's side, they need to add something.
Yeah. Then we have the Santa Cruz Syndicate. Obviously, Jackson didn't get any points last year. He was out injured all season. And we've got,
of course,
Laurie on 382, Nina Hoffman on 934, Ellie Hulsenbosch on 430, and Felix Griffiths, obviously, he's not got any points. But you'd have to think they can't have two seasons like that in a row, can they?
You would think not. I mean, so we know that Ollie's leaving there, do we? He's definitely going to Trek.
I believe so, yeah. So Jackson coming back from a big injury, straight up to speed, do you reckon?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, that speed's there. It's not going anywhere. It's just the way the sport is now at the top. It's about these riders trying to stay healthy and trying to stay uninjured. Like, you can see how all the top guys are riding. They're taking huge risks and going super fast. So I think he'll be straight back to speed. Let's just hope he can avoid injury, and let's see him in the fight next year, because it'll be really interesting to see him battling the Frenchies and Dark and the rest of them at the top.
So this time last year, I think we said we thought that the 2024 season would be a three-way fight between Jackson, Loic and Amory. Are you seeing it the same way?
No, there's just too many. It's just mental now, isn't it?
Can Loic keep
so
going?
Many names going around my head. So, of course he can.
Can he keep? He wins one of the two every year. The overall All World Champs.
I mean, how far is he off GOAT status? It's not far now, is it?
Next, we've got Frameworks. Angel Suarez, Anna Newkirk, and Asa Vermette. Great that they're going to be in there, because they're not a full blown factory team, are they? It's great to see some other teams coming in there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what Nico's doing there is really cool, and let's hope it continues. Let's hope that they don't become a victim of the current climate.
Yeah. Then we got, and I think I might have got this one wrong, because these might be even higher, but we got Intense Factory Racing, which we think is going to be Joe Breeden, Louise Ferguson, Millie Johnset, Oscar Griffiths, Ryder Lawrence, and there's a couple of other riders mentioned as well, and that Joe's been spotted riding with, Juan Munoz, and another South American as well, I think. And Juan's got like 280 points to bring, so they could be well higher than 14th. Also on EXT suspension by the looks of it, which is have you seen the forks that EXT have launched?
No.
I think they're the first forks with sliding bushings, like motorbikes have. So instead of just being at the top, they go all the way down. Fair bit of extra weight, but supposed to be very, very, very good.
Really nice. Yeah, very supple, I imagine.
And nice piece of kit. Joe's building a good team there, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's especially if he brings in a couple of those South Americans, they're extremely fast.
Yeah,
Bringing quite a lot of exposure from their urban racing that they do as well. So, yeah.
cool. And then we've got MSGT. So we think that MS are leaving Intense and moving over to GT for frames at least. Eleonora Farina, Valentina Roa Sanchez, Tohoto, David Trummer, and Jacob Dixon. I mean, those riders have been there for a good few years now. We don't know whether they're still going to be there, but we would assume so. This edition of, we've just seen it with Intense as well, 2 top elite women. Strong strategy to make sure you've got the points in it.
100%. Yeah, I was just looking at the lineup, and like you say, they're bringing in the points, aren't they? The girls.
Yeah,
it's over 1,000 points from the chicks.
yeah, and that would be 15. So that would be the cut off for the net. Then the automatic places kind of,
Oh, yeah.
and then the rest are all on wildcards. And I mean, I think there's like probably 6 other teams that will be battling it out. I mean, as I say, I think some of these teams can go a lot higher, and there's I'll list some of the riders at the end that we don't know where they're going, and I'm sure they will end up on teams as well. But next we have Gamak, which is we believe to be Reese Wilson's team. I don't know if it's going to be Lotus, if that's the outside sponsor Reese is bringing in, but everything Reese posts at the moment has a Lotus badge in it, so it's not too far to stretch, that is it?
Definitely not.
So Reese, obviously, Monica Rasnick, we believe might be going there. Possibly Greg Williamson as well. Do Reese and Greg get on?
Does Greg get on with anyone? Such a wind-up merchant. Yeah, I think they do get on. Greg's a good lad, and easy for them to train together up there. Like it would be a good fit, I reckon.
I haven't heard that really. I don't know where I've heard that rumor from.
It's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, I
like it though.
Greg's gone really quiet, hasn't he? And but then there's Reese has been doing quite a bit of stuff with Hattie Harnan. She hasn't got a lot of points because obviously she did Enduro. Could you see Hattie going there? I guess it.
Honestly, with something like this, like it's all about who you know. In it, I know myself from running like your own team, and the support you get is what you get, and who knows what he's doing because only he knows what he's working with. Yeah. So
I think that's going to be one of the most exciting team launches to see who he's got under the bonnet there, pun intended.
Yeah. There you go.
Then we've got Goodman Santa Cruz, which we think is Thomas Estac, Milan Falke, Nathan Pontvian, and Lisa Bouladou. French riders all bonding together to try and
French that.
Yeah. Then Yeti, which we think might be Richie Rood, Camille Ballanche, Tyler Waite, Mick Hanna. Good move for Camille to there.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Yeti is such a sick brand. She's obviously, world champ, and I think that's cool for her, cool for them.
Yeah, I think she'll be really good fit with that brand.
Yeah, I like it. She's stylish. Yeti's stylish. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And Richie, will he be? I suppose he's going to have to race downhill full time.
Is Enduro gone? Is it? I don't really know.
I mean, it's still happening, but there aren't many teams doing it.
Mad in it.
If you want the coverage,
I would imagine he'll do a bit of the downhill if it fits in, won't it?
Yeah. And then we have Continental Atherton, Charlie Hatton, Elise Empey, Don Platt, and I'm not sure about this one, but Luke Wayman,
Who's that?
He was the junior that Wynn brought through last year, who had some really good results.
Okay, so is he elite or is he junior next year?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay,
not sure. But he's got a lot of points.
Surely they're going to replace Kolb though. One of the riders from your list down here.
Yeah, you would think so.
Got to be going in there.
Yes.
Yeah. I've just spotted something in your list that's made me chuckle.
We'll get to that in a minute. So then we got Pivot, and Bernard's obviously 543 points. He's dropped. if you're going to have a bad season for your team, last season wasn't the season to have it, was it? So Eddie was out, Matt Walker was out. Obviously, the loss, if Jacob's gone, Dane's gone, it's left a bit of a hole. I actually think I might have underestimated them a little bit on the points because since I wrote the script, I found out that Morgan Shaw actually has 100. I believe has 100 UCI points. So they might be a little bit higher up. What do you think the chances of Pivot getting a wild card are?
Yeah. I mean, but this is the thing. As always, I'll speak my mind, and I think it's so cool that Bernard was standing up for not just himself, but what he believed was the right thing for teams and the industry. And I haven't always had much time for him, but over the last couple of years, I've seen him kind of growing up and changing a bit, and I got a lot of respect for what he was trying to do. As I think Emmy said to me, like he knows that sometimes he went across the line and now he's paying the price potentially. But at the same time, I just, he's a professional athlete, he's trying to run a team, and he was speaking his mind, standing in his corner, and now he's potentially going to get penalised and the people in his team are going to get penalised. And I just think it's a bit of a shame. Like ultimately, he's supporting bike racing and trying to support what his team were doing, and he's trying to stand up to the big man, Warner Brothers, that essentially doesn't give a shit about us. They just want to make money out of our sport. And now they might suffer. So I really do hope that team can get to World Cups, because obviously last year Bernard did he have the number 5? Was he 5th in the overall from 2023? Is that right? Something like that. Anyway,
something like that. You've got to think.
I just hope it works out.
You've got to think he's going to add some riders to that, or a rider at least. But then
now he's lost the Jewetts. There's got to be somebody coming in there, but it's who's left with enough points to make it worth it, if that makes sense. So I'm sure it's all sorted now, and it'll be interesting to see who that is when it happens.
Then we've got Cube, who have actually announced their team this week. So they've let Simon Chapelet go. Max Hartenstern, Jess Blewett, Casper Hickman, and Rosa Zeal.
Max is staying at Cube, is he?
Yep.
I'm being sarcastic.
Casper Hickman, oh my God.
Well, that's the kid that we've spoke to you about in private, and he is the most exciting junior coming in for sure. Like, he was smoking everybody at the European Cups last year. Like, he beat Kolb in his back garden.
Yeah.
At the Rookies Cup at the end of the season. So that's going to be really exciting to see him coming in and battling against Asa and Max and everybody else. So surprising. I'm surprised Cube have managed to keep him. But it's all about who you know in this industry, isn't it? So,
they've been pretty bold there, haven't they? They've gone with like 4 riders, 2 of which haven't got any points. Is there a chance that they're not going to be racing World Cups? They're not going to get enough points to be in the top 15 with 805. There's no way they're going to be in the top 15 there.
Maybe they've had conversations with people giving out the wild cards, and they know they're going to get one. Like I just said, the sport's all about who you know, so maybe they already know they're all good.
I guess with a lot of races in Europe, it benefits European teams, I guess. Yeah. So then there's things that we get onto things that we don't know, and I've kind of been a little bit hypothetical. And what if the Italians that we don't know about all banded together and formed the Italian Mafia? So you'd have Gloria Scarzi, David Palazzari, Loris Rivelli, and Stefano Introsi. That'd be 1,236 points, and they would be
exciting team.
Yeah, they would be just outside the top 15.
Just outside the top 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Add another rider in there, and you'd be in it. That would be cool.
What's the fee? I can't remember.
It came out the other week. It was a lot. Let me just Google that. The top 15 teams from each ranking will be invited to register, plus 5 wildcards as World Series teams for 2025. The annual World Series team fee will be €40,000. There will be a maximum of 20 Gravity and 20 Endurance World Series teams per year. So
I do remember reading some of the Pink Bike comments when this come out now, actually, and people were raging. It was uproar. It was hilarious. We're 2 right though. 40k. What is that?
I'm just trying to work out how many riders you're allowed. Well, it's that 4 to 10 then, is it? Yeah.
But this is the thing. The whole point in this, from like a team and rider point of view, they were like, oh, they will bring in outside sponsorship. Da, da, da. Isn't the only person that we're aware of who's going to have some outside sponsorship in the team next year Reese, and he was already sponsored by Lotus before Warner Brothers came along.
Yeah.
So they're just taking all this extra money off everyone. And all I've heard all winter off every single marketing manager I've spoke to and every single other team manager I've spoke to, his budgets are gone. Nobody's got any money. So it's not working. So
it's going to be insane. So let's just, I mean, there's a lot of riders there that we don't know about. Thibaut de Prella, Veronica Vidman, Frida Ronin, Antoine Piron, Antoine Vidal, Christine Hauser. They've all got over 200 points. Pau Busquets, Aaron Gwynn. I mean,
has Gwynny said anything about what he's doing?
Nope, not that I've heard. Kaya Hearns, Simon Chapelet. And then I noticed on 153 UCI points is Jack Redding.
In Portugal, I know, mate.
Would you, if you were approached by a team, would you go race?
Just to bring in some points? Like, it's funny you should say that, actually, because I thought the other day, I was like, shit, next year is the first year since 2010 that I will not actually be allowed to go race a World Cup. I've got more than 40 points, but that rule's gone now. So next year is the first year I'm not actually able to just have that flexibility to be like, yeah, I'm going to have a crack.
That was what when I was looking at it, I was like, he's fucking done it, and he's done it the year after he retires. Like, no hassle at all. Smashed the 40 points total.
Yeah, well, I've always had over 40, except years I've been injured. But it's just funny that it's like, oh shit, I actually can't even if I want to. Probably for the best.
Let's close out this section then with some awards, end of year awards. So. Rider of the year. I've gone for Valley.
Oh, I need to try and remember the season. I'm going to go for Ronan off the top of my head. Yeah. Won a World Cup, breakout season. Did he win both hard lines? Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely going for Ronan. And he's like, we're going to be talking to him in a minute. So
yeah, that's cool. Nice link. Run of the year. Race run of the year. You got to go for one of Amar's, Val di Sole or Leger. I think everyone chooses Val di Sole.
Nah, I'm going Leger in the wet.
Yeah?
Lunatic. Yeah, especially the way he rode that bottom section. Everyone crashed and he just smashed it to pieces.
Race of the year. Of the World Cups, it was Ludenville for me in the mud.
It was cool and it was sick to see Benoit win. But for me, I'm going to stick with the theme of my first answer, and I'm going to go Poland. New venue. It was exciting to almost see Lackey win when he was on it and then crashed. Ronan. Poland for sure.
I just like the uncertainty of the mud. I just love it when it's a leveler and you're like, right, let's see what everybody can do. I picked a Bravery award, and I wanted to give that to Louise Ferguson for her run at Hardline in Australia. She crashed 3 times and got up and still finished. That was insane.
Fair play.
And surprise package. Finn and Tarney. Lackey.
Man, I was going to make more jokes about that, but I won't.
Are you going Lackey? Or was that not a surprise?
No. Oh, is there anyone else? Yeah. has to be, doesn't it? Just almost won 2 World Cups. Just like, hello.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can do it again next year, but actually get across the line because it's the speed's there, isn't it? It's exciting.
Cool. Right, we'll be back with Oisin and Ronan after these messages. Ronan Dunne, Oisin O'Callaghan, welcome back to the podcast. How are we doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, pretty good. Cheers for having us on.
Cool. Always a pleasure. I'm going to start with a little game to get you in the mood. According to Roots and Rain, you two have raced each other 31 times. Who do you reckon's got the most head-to-head wins?
I'd say Oisin, to be fair.
I'm gonna go with the opposite. I'm gonna say Ronan.
I thought he whipped me around the gaff when we were younger.
It's close.
How big do you think the difference is?
I reckon Ronan, when I was younger, used to beat me more than I used to beat him at a certain point. I don't know. I can't remember.
What's the age difference between you guys? Is it 1 year?
A few months,
just
I think.
Under. Yeah,
literally. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was a category ahead though.
Yeah, I thought you were a year
Yeah.
or one
So
or two.
so it's wild, right? So Ronan's won 17, Oisin's won 14, but the total time, Ronan's 2 hours 7 minutes 56 seconds, and Oisin's 2 hours 11 minutes 11 seconds. But 3 minutes 17 of that was at the last race at Mont Saint Anne this year. So if you take that off, Oisin was up coming into Mont Saint Anne. Oisin was up by 2 seconds.
Oh fuck! Wait, only 2 hours in my whole career of riding.
Of racing against him, yeah. Against him, yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were like, fuck, us mountain bikers complain about a lot. Only to race 2 hours in their whole careers.
Go and do the mega a couple of times and just get some hours banked up.
Yeah, rack them in.
So
2 hours is like 4 motos and motocrosses.
yeah, but if you look at like Usain Bolt, and he only ever run for like 40 minutes or something like that. His entire career was something like 40 minutes of running. It's something strange like that. So
crazy.
Ronan last on the show in December 2022. Oisin last on the show October 2023, and you've both had huge success since then. Obviously, Snowshoe 2023 was insane. Oisin taking the win, Ronan in second. Just how often do you mention that 0.496, Oisin?
We never really mentioned it that much, to be honest. Like, at the start, we might have wound each other up. Or Ronan was like slagging me, saying, "Oh, you got me by this little bit." But like, Ronan got his win this year, so it's like it's 1-1. Like, it was bound to happen at some stage where we're both going to get one, but it was just a matter of when.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever seen a rider more pumped in the start gate than Ronan that day in Snowshoe, shouting "Come on" as he set off. How many Red Bulls were you deep at that point?
Yeah, that one was a fair bit, because that was like contract years up, and I was like, hadn't got a podium, so I was like, fuck, I need to swing off at the show. I'm worth something to the brands. And it was I'd say about 5 good 5 solid cans, a bit more. So that was there's a fair few there, but it's usually that much anyway.
Is there like any guidance on what maximum amount you're supposed to drink on Red Bull?
I don't know. It says it's was on a can 30 milligrams of caffeine on a can, so it's not that bad, to be fair. When I was younger, I remember when I used to go gym with my mates, we used to have pre-workout.
Yeah,
and that stuff was like, I don't know, 500 milligrams caffeine per scoop. So that was the Red Bull's tame work compared to that stuff. That'd have you smelling colors and stuff. But
I was about to say to you, I think I like the coffee that I have. I'm sure one day when I was on a show, I had 1,000 milligrams of coffee. I worked out by how many scoops. So 30 is nothing, is it?
No, it's like, 30 times 5 or 6. So it adds up. But yeah, it does the job. So I'm not gonna keep circling it down there. So
so with that result in Snowshoe, did the pair of you feel like you'd arrived?
I suppose definitely when we came home, like seeing how big of a response we got from the Irish side, like at home. When we came back, like we were only back 2 hours, and there was like a huge homecoming. And I suppose like we noticed how much more attention I suppose Ronan did as well. Both of us were definitely, I would say, after this year and last year, kind of more of a threat to be dealt with going into next year again.
Yeah.
The homecoming thing was pretty cool. Just like, it's quite cool that like for people, everyone at home to do that for us is pretty cool. And yeah, definitely, I think, for us to get the first win, I think it really just kind of showed like we more like the Irish boys were loose, but yeah, to be consistent, and the whole week we were consistent as well, from time training to semi-finals and qualies. It wasn't like we were all over the gaff and then just banged out one run. I think we're consistent the whole week, so I think it was quite cool to show we're consistent, not just the one run, to be fair, which is pretty cool.
Talking about the consistency there, Ronan, like, Oisin, this is maybe not as relevant for yourself, because I feel like watching the two of you, Oisin, you've always kind of been fairly consistent coming through junior and challenging for those results. Whereas Ronan, obviously, I raced against you in those early years when you were always known for like setting the track alive with like your sketchy lines and stuff. Question is, like, do you feel something like specific happened in that 2023 season that just all of a sudden like calmed you down? Because the calmed you down might be the wrong way of putting it, but like you've become super consistent at every round. Was it something in particular, or was it just experience?
I think it was more just experience, like actually just getting out there. And by like that was my third year of properly racing. And I kind of just got a bit more experience. And then also just, I think as well, I kind of copped on. Like, I still do all the sketchy stuff in practice and still push hard in practice, but I think I just got better and could handle the speed. So yeah, it's quite like, even for this season, it was quite known to be, I think on record, I was the most consistent rider of times this season. So it's quite cool to be known as a consistent rider now, but also it's nice to be known as a loose rider as well, because that turns heads. So it's
100%.
It's hard to balance both. But yeah, I think it's more just kind of copping on as well, and just be like, right, if you want to do this as a job, you need to be getting consistent results. So that year definitely felt like I kind of switched on a little bit more. But yeah, it's still tough because it's always nice to get loose for the camera as well. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it certainly seems like you've been able to now respect where that red line is when it comes to those time runs, and it's definitely not as exciting to watch you anymore in terms of the looseness, but obviously it's exciting from a perspective of, oh shit, he might win. Here we go. So
I think the first runs we've been trying to do sketchy ones. I think like me and Oisin did a few GoPros this year, and I didn't even make it to the end of the track preview. So I still try to keep it pretty loose and sketchy, but yeah, it's good to. Yeah, when it comes to counting, I try be a little bit more consistent here and there.
Yeah.
So the week after that snowshoe result, Ronan, you had a huge crash at Mont Saint Anne just after the Stevie Smith drop, where you got up and shouted, "You don't know me, son."
Oh yeah,
which has become a bit of a catchphrase. How many of those do you have in a season like that? Because you got up and just went, "Oh," and then just carried on.
I think this year, not too many. I'm trying to think. I had one in World Champs at the Rock Garden. I didn't have it. You don't know me, son, because I was fucking fuming. I was so angry.
I actually seen that crash as well.
There's a video of Oisin in the background putting his head on his hand, or his hands on his head. That one. But I don't think I've had a "You Don't Know Me, Son" this year properly. Just haven't had a hugie like in public in a while. And that one in Andorra, I was just angry because I pushed up the whole way to redo the section, and then I just flattened myself for it. So I was like, fuck, just got up and walked up or pedaled away as quick as I can. But yeah, I need to do a few more of those because they always seem to keep people happy. I switched up the "You Don't Know Me, Son" for drinking a beer in front of the car. That was kind of the mix up. So I was trying to bring something different to the table.
Nice. It's funny you should bring that up, George. I've used that exact crash and your response to that crash a number of times when I've been coaching people and just kind of trying to illustrate the mindset that young, successful downhill riders have to have. Like, for both of you, I guess, like, that comes naturally, right? That kind of attitude of just like, I've crashed, I don't give a fuck, get me up, let's go. Like, would you both agree with that? Like,
yeah,
it's not artificial. It's just like, that's happened. Let's go.
I think, neither of us when we crash, stay down on the ground unless we are absolutely dying on the ground. Like both of us get up pretty fast, unless we're winded and we're just crawling all over the place.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So Ronan, let's rewind to the start of this year, and obviously switch over to Mondraker. Tell us a bit about how that deal came about. Obviously, you've mentioned that you needed to step up at the end of the year before. Was it a big decision to leave the team you were on, and did you have other options?
Yeah, so that season, I was definitely I was still in contract for that season as well, so that was why it was a bit tricky. So I had to break contract to move to Mondraker.
Wow.
So and the way the winter went, I was just feeling I don't know, I just needed something different coming in, and I was season started off all right. I think it was a top 20 or something first race, and then 8th place, and I was quite consistent on the top 10s. So I was like, I think I could do a lot more with the right backing.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I think the rumor got out I was looking for a team, and there wasn't a lot of riders switching up that year. So it kind of gave me a good opportunity. A few teams came asking, and then Mondraker said, I think Jorge sent me a message saying about Mondraker, they're starting the factory team. And I was always loved Mondraker as a brand, really. And then also there was always these rumors going around the pits that the bike wasn't good, which was going around a lot. So that was always in the back of my head until I actually rode the bike and then realized that was a load of shite. So but once he kind of explained the whole deal to me, I was kind of hooked from the beginning, and that was kind of the main and I had to go on the bike. And once I found out the bike could really move, it was like, I had full faith for those boys, and pretty happy with the decision.
Nice. So first it was Red Bull Hardline out in Tasmania. You took the win and you rode the old bike. Was there much of a choice to ride the old bike or the new bike at that point?
So I was like, it was more just we didn't know what the crack was with the new bike, how strong it was. Like, it was strong, but we didn't know maybe there's big impacts. And I think nobody knew what Tassie was going to be like. We didn't see the track. So we're like, if it was anything like Wales, we're like, right, maybe it's not the best to ride the prototype. I definitely wanted to stick on the prototype because it's faster than the old bike, and I was more comfortable. I didn't have a lot of time on the old bike, so I didn't really get an option there, to be honest. It was the engineer's calls, which I suppose was the right call at the end of the day. And the old bike still rips, to be fair, and it did the job for that race. So complain, got a cool paint job, so I was happy out with it.
Cool. So I mean, obviously, I watched Wales, and it doesn't really make me want to do it. When I was younger, I did want to do it, but now, breaking bones and body a little easier, I watch Wales and I'm not really interested. Whereas I watched that Tasmania race and I was like, fuck me, I want to go and do that. That looks sick. Was the track as good to ride as it looked from the outside?
Yeah, the track was insane. I think still to this day it's one of the most fun and like one of the best tracks I've ever ridden. Like, you just ride it and you're just smiling the whole way down because there's nothing terrifying on it. Like, there's big features, but it's super wide in sections, fast, and all the features, they're big, but they're super easy. Like, I think we did because my bikes came late, so I got like a full run in, I think in the space of 10 minutes, just following behind Sammy G and hoping his speed was right. But like, while Wales, to tick it all off, it takes a solid day and a half, 2 days to get all those features done. But the track was sick in Tassie. It was like, the dirt was savage and they did a good job. So it's a pretty min course. But definitely different kind of beast compared to Wales, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You've just mentioned there that your bike was late, and did you say there was it your first run that you dropped in behind one of the boys and just went for it all?
I was like a day and a half late, so I just missed off on. I didn't miss out on a crazy amount of runs, like for a disadvantage, but you just missed out on the first day of hits and like a media kind of day. So like, you didn't really get to like hit all the features with everyone. So and then by the time it arrived, everybody was kind of just doing practice, like near just like bombing down the track. So I was like, right, Sammy G's pretty good at judging jumps. So I was like, right, I just trust you, and kind of went into most of the features blind. So it was a pretty cool first run, like hitting some of that stuff blind. But I was like just kind of hoping his speed. I booked a dodgy airline from a random cheap ass site, so that's why I kind of paid the price for that airline or bit with the website, and they kind of shafted me there at the bike.
Yeah. So you kind of just played the catch up quite quickly, just jumped in on the full runs, got it done, and
started
I like
lapping it
it.
out. Yeah, it's a sick
I like
track
it.
to lap out.
Would you say that track was a step up from World Cup tracks, or was it on a par with World Cup stuff?
I think it's what World Cup should be. Like, it's thick, wide, fast track, but then it has big features. Like, there's no reason none of those features could be the World Cup. I think it should be what World Cups should be aiming to be.
Mm-hmm. And last question on Hardline, like, does it mean a lot to you? Like, is it up there on the same level as a World Cup series, World Cup races, or is it, where's that sitting?
Hardline means, like, it's my favorite race series to do. Just like, it's one of the sickest. It's the most viewed mountain bike event, really. I think from the stats, it's like most viewed wise. But to say it means as much, because you just don't have the same you don't have Loic or Amory or those. Even though this year there's a good roster, and you just can't, like, it's just not everyone who's there. But I think it's the tracks are just what it is, really, because and then the whole buzz around it, it's a savage buzz with all the lads. Like, it's a lot chill. Like, you don't have your team trucks there. You've only one mechanic. You don't have line spotters, physios. It's a lot more like laid back. Like for Tassie, we sleep in tents, and it's like some of the boys are up. Yeah, like it's just good crack. While like the World Cup's it's a lot more serious, which is like fair enough. But yeah, I think it's a completely different buzz. But the tracks, I think, are just that's the best because they don't get destroyed as well. They stay primed the whole week, so you're not. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So the rider list for 2025 has been announced. Obviously, you're back. You're not on. You're not on there, Oisin. Is it something you'd be keen to do?
Go on.
It's something that Ronan's always been trying the last year or two to convince me to go. I've never gone. It's something that I was definitely more eager to do. I would say maybe like 2 years ago or last year. While I think at this point in time, I just want to focus on actual World Cups. But I don't know. It's something I'd like to give a go, but I don't know. Yeah. I've never been to one, so I actually don't really know the whole. Like, I haven't experienced the whole buzz. If I went to one, I'd probably be like, "Yeah, this is." So to keep going, it's the fact that I've never even been to one is probably the starting point.
I love it.
Yeah. So how do you go about getting an invite for it? Is it something like if Ronan said,
Oisin would definitely he'd get one. Fucking, if he still wanted, I'd say he's still getting to Tassie.
He'd get one now.
The option's still there.
This could be the conversation.
He'd get one. I'd say he'd get one next week or next day if he wanted to.
Come on, Oisin. I reckon you're in there.
I don't know.
I'll add him into the group chat.
Oh, love this. So, Oisin, you entered the season still on YT, obviously, but on a new bike, if I remember correctly, the first mullet Tues. Did you get on with that straight away?
It's been a long time since I rode a mullet downhill bike. I've actually never really rode a mullet downhill bike. First day on the mullet was actually with Ronan in Queenstown. Loved it. Right. Thought this was, wish I was on a mullet beforehand. Loved it in New Zealand. Went to Australia then with Jack Meyer, and was not enjoying the mullet at all. I was like, this, not a fan. Went home, same thing again. Put the 29er wheel that I was on before back in. Loved it again. So I just ran a full 29er all season with the new bike.
I was going to ask you about that because I know you were running it for Mont Saint Anna. I'd seen, I think on the course preview, you said he's full 20. Somebody said maybe Ronan said he's full 29, or you said you're full 29. I can't quite remember. So you stuck it in a tree, didn't you?
I didn't make it down.
So like, it's a bike that's been designed. Is it meant to be switched between the two?
Yeah, it can still be 29 and mullet. Personally, I feel I have quite long legs, and we've actually just like compared myself to some other riders, and my legs are actually quite long for the height of me. So I think I actually get away with it, even though I tire buzz quite a lot. I don't know. For me, I just loved how fast it rolled. Like, my bike rolls so fast. It's actually ridiculous how fast it rolls.
Yeah. There's it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? The other one will
Yeah,
cut.
it's like Leo Gang. I have the 29er wheels where it's rolling fast down the motorway and in the top section, but then in the stumps and in the bottom woods, you want the mullet. So it's like a trade-off of what do you want, and I suppose what's more comfortable for you at the same time as well.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. So on to this season, as in the World Cup season, started in Fort William. Oisin qualified 5th.
Yeah.
Ronan 16th, and then in semis, you crashed in the rain, Oisin, and Ronan was 18th, and then finished 11th in finals. So you both showed you had decent pace. You know, I'm guessing you were pretty happy with it, Ronan, but you not so much, Oisin.
It was okay. I was happy with the 5th in the qualifying, but then I wasn't too happy after that. But yeah, it was an okay weekend.
So if you come away and you've qualified 5th, you must be like, right, well, yeah, I can do it. I'm in the right place for the season.
It's definitely a nice, I suppose, confidence boost in a way. Like that first time run at the World Cup every year is probably the most nerve-wracking one, I would say, because you don't know where you are, how much work you've put in, or all the work you've put in during the off-season has paid off. Well, at least that showed me that, okay, I'm good to go. If I can do something similar to that every weekend, we should be in around the top 10.
Yeah. Do you class Fort William as a home race, you two?
No. I don't.
No.
I personally don't. I personally don't like. I hate the track. That's I just cannot ride that stuff to save my life. I like the wood section. When I get to the woods, I'm like, thank God. And then I'm just terrible when it comes to flat, pumpy momentum stuff. I just absolute lose it. So I was like, no, like it's probably the closest race we get to home, but definitely not a home race for us. But it's I just not. We went there. I think me and Oisin went there for a bit of pre-season testing, and I think we did 10 laps, and we were there for a week or something, and we were sick of the place by then.
The only time we'll ever get a proper home race is if it's in the Republic.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There you
go. We'll be planning on that. Be a good track.
Yeah. So, but none of the Brits did well this year at Fort William, and I think if you've had your home race at the start of the season, and so that's the one you've probably got the best chances in, and you've not done well, then it's kind of almost like a double whammy. The season's got off to a really shit start.
Yeah.
But if it's not a home race for you boys, then fair enough.
Yeah.
So moving on to Poland, obviously the first time the World Cups went there. Did you both jump on track from the start to like get into it early?
Like a pre-season practice?
No, like at the start of practice, were you like out the door
First run, it was a pretty hot one, and I was loving it. It was savage track from the beginning, to be fair. That was a fresh track as well. You don't really know, and it's just how much it developed and cut up. It was pretty sick, and then the rain as well. I don't know if the rain came on practice day or quali day, and that completely like cut up the track really nice then as well.
Were you guys jumping between tires, Oisin, when it did rain, or was it just a dry tires track? Whatever happened?
I can't really. I think I might have put on wets for our second practice session. I think it might have rained like in between for the girls. I remember the girls on my team coming in destroyed, but I think it dried up pretty fast for us for the end of our like time training. It was like within halfway through we were back in jerseys and no need for roll-offs or anything anymore. It was drying up pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for yourself, you qualified 6th, and then you had issues in the semi-final, 27th. So a big shift in the hot seat. Came down early, finished 10th. At any stage were you sat there thinking, "Oh, I might have done enough for a podium here," or did you know it wasn't enough to be that high?
When I came down, I was like, it was a good run, but I was not expecting. I was actually someone was watching it the other day, or someone was asking me about it, and I came down like quite a bit in front of the second place into the hot seat.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm surprised by that. And it took ages for the riders to come down to actually beat the time. But I knew it was never going to be anything spectacular. I was just hoping for a top 10 or something, which is
you got
what
obviously.
Yeah. Was it Ronan who'd been watching it again?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Was it Ronan who'd been watching it again?
You got it on repeat.
Yeah, I was
He's got it
watching
on DVD.
Yeah.
Every day.
So, as you said in the start of this podcast, you were consistent. You qualified third, fourth in the semi, and then first in the final. Did you think you'd done enough when you crossed the line?
Yeah, the run was pretty solid. Like around the end, I kind of gassed myself out just on that flat stuff. But yeah, I think after beating Loic, I was like, right, that was enough. I think it was definitely, I was kind of pretty confident that the run was, it was just very good. So I was pretty happy with that, to be honest.
I don't think you win a World Cup anymore without a very good run.
Yeah, like it was tight, like between me and Loic, but when I came across, I kind of just, it was more just that off the shoulder weight. It was just, at least you got a podium, and that was kind of the main thing for a new team. Just podium feel, and that was kind of the best thing really. And then obviously, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Oh. Tell us about the party, lads. Was it a big celebration?
It wasn't. No, it was actually pretty shite, to be fair. Which is a bit upsetting.
That's surprising for Poland.
Yeah, I know.
Poland normally turns itself out.
Yeah, we thought there'd be a deadly one, but it was in some tiny pizzeria thing, and it wasn't really a party. It was literally just a crummy pizza and a weird Polish pint. And then I went to Schladming straight after anyway for riding, so it wasn't it's a bit upsetting, that, to be honest. Race the thick after party was shocking, but it was a good week regardless.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so winning a World Cup is obviously the ambition from the start for both of you. Tell us about how you've both dealt with it psychologically since it's happened, because you've gone out and done what you've both set out to do. Did you have to refocus, or has it been easy moving on?
Lushing can go for, he won the first one.
I suppose definitely when, like, last off season, it's like definitely a bit harder to, I suppose, maybe focus a little. You're like quite in the buzz when you get home from the off season, with it being so close to the end of the season. I come home like buzzing, like so many people are congratulating you, but then you're still working at the same time. While I suppose this winter, ending the last race on a crash, you go into the off season way more hungry and looking for more.
What of those? Go on, Oisin. Go on, Ronan. What's your take?
Yeah, like for mine, it was at the start of the season, quite like opposite, and then like shortly after, then I'd Red Bull hardline and stuff, and then obviously winning that, and then getting the Red Bull helmet. It was quite tough to process. I kind of struggled actually.
You've had a hell of a
mentally. It was quite struggled actually with like Leogang and stuff. Like I didn't get a podium. I think I got 12th, which the result I used to be happy, but it was kind of like not winning a race was just devastating. Like I remember crossing line, I messed up coming into like the long straight, and it was just like it was like a happy with the result, but I wasn't happy with the result. I was just kind of actually devastated. It was quite hard to not come from winning.
Hard to process it all,
The knot was pretty bit of a struggle, and it was just more just like, it's kind of like if you have amazing steak, like the best steak of your life, and then you go and eat a shite, crusty, rubbery steak, and you're just like, I can never go back. And that was kind of the So I say,
I understand.
And I say it's not just me. I'd say there's so many riders who've won races, and then they just don't get I think I talked to Amar and Leogang as well. He didn't have a good result, and I think he was pretty devastated as well. And because I think he got podium in Poland as well, and I could tell by his face he was like, I'm never going to let this happen again. Obviously, he wins the next race by 6 seconds. So I think it's quite cool to see how he dealt with that. It's just like, it kind of makes other results, even though like you're over the moon with a top 10. Like I think in Val di Sole I got 6th, and you're still like, this is not enough. Even though it's a great result and you're really happy with it, but you're still in the back of your mind, you're just like, this isn't good enough.
The goalposts have moved. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Okay. So like, do you both feel that the pace that you had to ride at on the days that you won, obviously Oisin and Snowshoe and Ronan yourself in Poland, do you feel like that pace is something that you can both tap into again, or do you look back at it and go, shit, how do I repeat that?
No, definitely. Yeah, I think. It's definitely it's just a all out good run pace. It's more just like I think every race I've had that pace, but you just make a mistake. Like it's hard to maintain. Like just to try get that every week. I think really.
And the margins are so tight. Like 2 or 3 World Cups this year have been separated by less than a tenth or less than a couple of tenths, which means that you could have that perfect run, but somebody might just beat you by a tyre hair. So
yeah.
What are you thinking now, Shane? Is it repeatable?
Yeah, I suppose. Obviously, if you
I hadn't even finished talking anyway. Yeah.
Like if you look at he's, I would say, the closest maybe at the moment to repeating it every weekend, but at the same time, I think there's definitely a margin where obviously he's looking for better too. But it's just a case of trying to tap into that mindset of every race run, like just being in the zone.
Yeah. Cool. So you just mentioned it, Ronan. Hardline UK, you were presented with the Red Bull helmet. Was that something you were like actively trying for? Because as we said before, I don't think any other athlete lives and breathes the brand like you do.
Yeah, that's like something I think was just a goal of mine. Like I just love the brand, and I actually just really like the drink. That's kind of the main thing. I actually love the drink. But yeah, that's kind of I got invited to the Red Bull camps in 2023, and I got invited to one in 2024 in Queenstown, and like I knew a lot of people in the brand and stuff. And then I think after Poland, then I got my contract, and that was it, fully secured really. And it was just kind of, so I knew the helmet was coming, but even though you sign the contract, it still doesn't feel real until you actually have the helmet in your hand or wear it. But yeah, that's something I've been kind of trying to seek out for the past few years, and just I think I promoted the brand so much. A lot of people were saying you're doing too much, like you're doing, like why would they bother sponsoring you if you're giving all this free stuff? And I was like, no, I'm gonna keep kissing their ass and see what happens. And paid off. But yeah, it's kind of just it's always just a dream.
I mean,
work with.
You hear that like most athletes, well, not most, but you've heard of athletes being sponsored by them and saying, I'll pass us the Red Bull, but put water in it, for the finish line or whatever. But you're living and breathing it. So hardline, you P1 in qualifying and P1 in the race. Does it still scare you at all, the UK track?
Not really. Like it is a scary track, but it's the adrenaline rush on that track is like it's unmatched already. It's just such a proper track. Like from the start gate down, it's like one massive rock garden the start, and it's just so sick how it rides when you push, and then you're along this ridge, which is probably a cliff to your left, and it's like that thing in person is so steep and so skinny. It's crazy, the top section, and to do a race run speed on that is wild. So the track is, everything about that track is just such a beast. But to do a race run on it is the best, I think. Is a pretty insane feeling, just how it goes really. Looking forward to that track this year. It's pretty sick, and to race it is just it's an animal.
Awesome. So you've moved to Mondraker, you've won Hardline Tasmania, won your first World Cup, been presented with a Red Bull helmet, and then won Hardline UK. Did you have to pinch yourself at this point? Were you thinking like?
I like, even from Hardline Tassie, I was always telling myself like, try really kind of soak it in. Like you're not going to be 21 and doing this well ever again. So just kind of really appreciate it. I suppose that's kind of what I was trying to tell myself, and just like, and just really enjoy it, I suppose, because who knows what's going to happen in the future. So it's always good just to, I suppose, not take it for granted. That was kind of the main thing. But it was a pretty sick couple of weeks, really. I was really happy the way the bike felt, and obviously the team and the brand was really happy just how quickly the brand image changed, I suppose, as well, from Mondraker. Just how they because I think they were lacking it for a few years before, so it's quite cool to really, obviously with the rest of the riders, Dakota and Pinky as well, I feel like they all, like, we really kind of changed up the attitude in the brand as well, which is quite cool.
I wanted to ask you both, You both come at this, and I've got a question based around this in the second half. How you've both come at this from completely different angles. So obviously Oisin's been signed to the Y team or junior world champion, and then Ronan's come through, worked his way up through Continental Nuke Proof, and you were on your own almost at the start. Did you see yourself doing this, the pair of you? Did you see yourself winning World Cups at that stage at the start? Or was it a dream?
Go on, Ronan.
Oh, I'm going to wait for you to go.
I know Oisin's answer because I know him well enough to know, but I'm not sure what Ronan's going to say.
To be honest, no. Not really. Like, my juniors was pretty shocking. Like, I had great crack. I think my first race I went with my mom to Maribor, and like my parents, obviously they supported me the whole lot really. But yeah, I was like but no, I didn't think I was going to be fast enough, to be honest, until my first year racing elites. And my first year racing elites, I just wanted to get one top 60. That was a goal already, just to qualify. And then I think I got 22nd at my first race. And then maybe I was like, maybe this is a possibility. And then at 2022, the season at the start didn't go very well. And then I was kind of realizing maybe I'm just not quick enough to be getting a salary. So yeah, there's definitely a point where I was like, this is not possible really, until Snowshoe 2022 for me, when I got my first podium. Then it was kind of like, this could be a reality really. That's why that race meant a lot for me, just because I was like, that actually gave me, I suppose, a little bit of hope really. But yeah, before that I wasn't 100% sure if I'd be able to, like, I definitely think I was enough to race and do some good results, but definitely not to win a race or be where we are.
Go on, Shane.
Yeah, I suppose for me it's just what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. There was even like a picture of when I was in primary school, like when I was 8 years old or whatever, holding up a picture of like future job, downhill world champion is what I said. So it's just what I've always thought I've wanted to do since I was a kid. Like, I always believed it, so it was just a matter of time of when I was going to do it, I suppose.
Nice.
That's so cool. Yeah, so cool. So
Racer attitude.
back to the season, round 3, Leah gang. Ronan, you said already you dipped a little bit, 12th. Oisin qualified first.
Yeah.
Fourth in semis, 4th in finals. Fastest in quali. How much confidence did that give you?
I was actually really surprised by that, because I think I was down like kind of early-ish, like kind of mid-pack. Yeah. I came down and I actually went back to the pits, watched a few riders, went back to the pits and got my enduro bike, because there was so many Irish over for that race. They were at the bar by the finish line, so I said I'd pedal over and see how they're going. I'm pedaling back over and Lucas Shaw's like, "Oh, great job." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sweet. Thanks." He's like, "You got 2 seconds on me in the bottom woods." I'm like, "Oh, cool, yeah, nice one." Head over more people telling me good job. I'm like, "Oh, I don't even know what I've done." And I come into the finish line and I see my name on the top. I'm like, "Oh, that's strange." Definitely was not. I was not expecting that. Because I just left with like another 20 riders to go or something, because I would have been probably number 25 or mid-20s number plate. So yeah, it was definitely a bit of, I was like, oh, but I've always kind of done, like, that's where I won my junior world title when I was younger. I do enjoy that track. And I typically always feel good there. So yeah, it was just, everything was going good that weekend from the start. I was just loving life.
What year did you win junior world champs?
2020.
Yeah.
So that's Dan's year.
That's what, sorry?
That was Dan's year. They were first and second. And I remember watching you in the woods, I was like, holy shit, this kid's going places. Because you and Dan just stood out a mile.
So that was once they made it from the bike park you won into the... Was it the Mudder? Yeah, it was the Mudder. Yeah. So back on a box at the World Cup.
Yeah.
Tell us how that felt. Is it like a relief? Is it...
That was actually quite a big relief, because my goals going into the season were, I suppose, after winning one, I wanted to be kind of more of a consistent rider. Like, my goals were be a consistent top 10 rider, and podium, which when I got that podium out of the way and the top 10 beforehand, I was like, okay, the goals are lining up. The season is looking pretty good. Obviously, there was definitely a few mishaps after that, crashes and stuff, which I would say I typically don't crash that much in race runs, I would say. While there was actually quite a lot of that in Fort William, you could say in the semis. And then, yeah, there was quite a lot of crashes last year looking back, which I'm going to tidy up. But yeah, that weekend was, I would say, a pretty solid weekend.
Cool.
So on to Val d'Isole. You were 6th, Ronan, and Oisin 7th. It was slick, but I guess nowhere near as wet as you boys are used to training in Ireland, right?
Mm.
The
Yeah,
question.
Yeah, it was
slimy. There in the wet is slimy
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I'd
It's
rather
lethal,
wet
isn't
than I'd rather a complete mudder than slimy,
100%.
awkward. Yeah, it's just not. It's like not wet enough that you like get a big advantage.
Just
well, it's
unpredictable,
yeah, it's just, and especially Val d'Isole. But yeah, it's a good week. But yeah, it's just been bittersweet being that close to a podium again.
Yeah, for sure. The big question here for both of you is, Omri put 9 seconds into you. Have either of you figured out how? Enlighten us, because we don't know.
I don't know. After seeing him in Leogang, like talking to him, I was like, yeah, that's why. Yeah, he was fuming in Leogang, and I think he was never going to let that happen again. So yeah, I think he came in with the right attitude. To be fair.
Yeah, I think it was all just
he was definitely
mindset.
a hungry man. He's definitely a hungry man going into that one.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel that run was just like next level impressive from like being a top 10 rider on the day?
Yeah, he just waxed everybody, to be fair. It was pretty sick to see. I think Amory as well, when he wins, he's so much like emotion in it as well. So it's pretty it's just pretty I think everyone's just happy to see him win because he shows it, like, I suppose.
Wears his heart on his sleeve for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Leger. Ronan 8th with a quali 12, semi-final 6th. You crashed in the first turn but still got 8th. Talk us through that.
So Leger was a good week. I think qualies I hurt my wrist beforehand, and then semis went well, and I was like, I knew it a lot more, and then finals, proper mudder that one. So I was like, right, we can put down a good run. Like, I know what to do in the wet, and I was just way too hyped up. I was buzzing for some reason, and I literally just cooked it. I sprint just went in the first turn way too fast, missed the rut, and then before I knew it, I was like riding the handlebars, and I got back on the bike and just kind of, thankfully the bars weren't bent or anything was bent, and I just got straight back into it. And the rest of the run was pretty solid the whole way down, and then still pretty sick to get a top 10 and a crash. But it was just also like, if I wasn't acting the bollocks, it would have been a guaranteed podium. But I think a lot of riders crashed that race as well, so it's not so many people crashed. It was like, it was pretty. I was watching the final. I was watching everything like on the TV before my run, so I kind of knew where everybody was crashing, and I knew where the sketchy spots were, but nobody crashed in the first turn, so I had to be that guy. But it was a good race. Leger's always savage with the crowd.
How were you able to like flick your mindset? Like, when you jumped back on the bike and went, did you leave that crash behind you? Just for the young people listening who want to be future racers, like, completely
forgot about the crash by the off camber afterwards. Obviously I still had that lot more aggression. Like, I was a lot more aggressive. Like for the rest of the run than I suppose I would have been if I didn't crash. And then when I crossed the line, I was like, fuck, like, that run was sick. Why is that result? And then I realized, I fucking crashed.
Yeah, so you just refocused. Such an important skill.
No, literally just get back in the game. No, and like a lot of people, you crash, throw the hands up, and then cruise down. But you never know with the wet races what can happen. So even the dry races, like, especially when points matter. Like, I was going for hopefully a good overall this year, so I was like, you never know. To just kind of get the head back into this game, really.
Yeah. Without the crash, have you looked at the times? Where do you think you finished?
I think it would have been, I don't know. Yeah, I think a top 3 maybe. Definitely a podium, but I think top 3 maybe. Not enough, obviously, definitely nowhere near enough to beat Amory. He just, again, waxed the boys. big time. But yeah, I can't complain with 8 as well. Like, but yeah, it was still bittersweet again.
Yeah. Oisin, what was your feeling on your weekend? You were 19th after a quali, 19 and I'm guessing you crashed in the semi-final, did you? A few crashes?
Yeah, that was actually the first weekend I've ever been protected the whole way through.
Yeah.
And thank God I was, because I used it that weekend. Leger is somewhere that I've been going since I was a kid, like really young, since I was like 4 or 5 years old riding. And I go there every year, loving it. Like, this is the place. Yeah, I've dreamed of winning, like seen races there. That's where I've dreamt, grown up in Europe, of racing bikes for a living. And every race that I've had there the last few years has
Something
been
goes wrong.
Shocking. So next year I'm just going to go out and I'm going to have a fight with like the Stargate or something the night before. I go fight a few trees, because I've actually had enough of it. I'm going there next year to full on go knock a tree out or something, because I've had enough of it at this stage. Leger, I'm looking for some redemption. Even in the race run, I crashed twice. Going to crashes, I reckon I nearly had 5 crashes that weekend. So yeah, and you can see in the last crash in my race run, the second one, I am over it at that stage. I take about like 2 minutes to get I was over it. I was like, I've had enough here.
Yeah, for sure.
So Ronan, did you make it through if you didn't crash again, did you make it through the bit where everyone was crashing, the kind of S-bends?
Yeah, I made it through that, because I was watching everybody's run, so I knew that was a fucking sketchy spot. So I was like, I cruised through that pretty handy. Like, and yeah, I took
Did you take the high line, or did you drop low?
No, I went full low, because I was like, I went cruisy, safe as can be, because I was like, I crashed once, can't crash again. So but everything before that was solid. So I was like, I think I can take a safe line, and plus out of everybody I watched, majority crashed there, so it wasn't wasn't worth the risk.
Where did you go down, Oisin? Was it somewhere around there?
My first one was kind of in between the lake and kind of, you have a bit of a sprint with 2 doubles. I actually have it on GoPro. I didn't let go of the handlebars. I was like a turtle going down the hill on my back. And then the next one was, I don't know, just front wheel slid I think it was the back wheel actually slid in the route, and I just went down on my side just before where everyone else was crashing. Just before coming out of that open bit, like probably 20 meters. And for some reason, where everyone was crashing, I decided to go for the full high for some reason, even though I was already. So I'm lucky I didn't have the third crash, because I almost did crash again.
So Amory put 14 seconds into you there. Which was the better run for you out of his 2 there? Leger of Alisol?
Leger for me.
Yeah. I don't know. Valdesol in that slippy condition is pretty insane. Like, to push the way he did, like, because everyone was still going fast there. I don't know. They're both pretty wild, to be fair. I don't know what are in his baguettes or croissants, but yeah, they're a different breed there for him.
So after Leger, it was on to Champery for European champs. I saw you there, Ronan. You got 10th, and you were fastest in the final 2 sectors. I was chatting to Remy Therion when I was out there, and he basically said to me that he found it quite weird racing an old school track, because he's used to now the tracks are so much straighter and faster. He's used to looking really far ahead. But Champery, it was just literally like berm straight. Did you find that?
That was a sick track. Like, one of my favorite ones. But it was a weird one for me. I actually blew my shock around the top. So I was like, had a good top split, which I was like happy with. First 2 splits I thought were good, and then my shock blew, and I actually chilled up, or didn't chill up, but I couldn't ride that well, because it when it goes, the top rebound goes, and it kind of seizes up a bit and gets a bit stiff. And I was like, okay, at least that's the race done. And then when I checked the splits, I was 30th in the first split. I think 20 something in the second split, and then first. So there goes my excuse for that weekend. Because
so you've gone fastest in the final 2 sectors with the
Yeah,
blown shock.
Not
yeah, and
trying.
I thought my first split would have been good, and I got absolutely waxed for some reason. Yeah.
But maybe that's the shock setup for next year, now for
Yeah,
Worlds.
it
Fast.
was
Let's get that shock on.
Yeah, like I think I like type steep turns, so maybe that suited me for around the end. But yeah, that one I'm a bit puzzled, to be fair. Yeah, because I like the bottom I didn't think was great, and the top I thought was good, and then it was kind of opposite. But yeah, it was a cool track. It was a fun race that.
So World Champs is there next year. What did you learn? I presume you were going to try and learn.
Yeah, it's more just kind of why not get a rough estimate. Yeah, I got good practice on the track. I don't know. Just go faster at the top, I think. I think that's what, I don't know, just push harder. And then everything else, I think the bottom I can happy enough with. But yeah, the track is sick. I really like it. It's kind of suits my style, I suppose. It's not very flat, steep. I like steep stuff. So yeah, maybe just a few more pedal strokes out the start gate and we'll be grand.
Have you ridden it, Oisin?
Not in a good few years. I would say maybe definitely before 2020, definitely before COVID, like just on a day trip riding over like through the hills from Oisin.
Yeah.
But I remember enjoying it.
It's
like
different now.
Yeah, it looks a lot different. They redone it like, was it a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You
excited for it?
You'll like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
You like the bottom of Leo Gang, so you'll like that.
Yeah. If you like the Leo Gang woods, yeah, exactly. From there, it was on to World Champs in Andorra. Ronan, 6th, 1 second off the win.
Yeah.
Could you have found a second?
I think so, yeah. I think maybe. It was such a tight race, though, so I think everybody, all the 5 people in front of me definitely could have found half a second. But yeah, that was a funny one. The top was really good, the middle was really good, and in the bottom I was like, this run is going really good. Maybe I should like take it back a bit just so I don't crash. And I think that was the problem. Now I still had a great bottom section, but I remember thinking that thought because it was a good run. And then just took it back. But that track is just so fast and just so everyone's on the exact same line. It's crazy how tight it is. But yeah, no, I was still happy with another 6th place. But yeah, I think I definitely could have found a bit more time. But then also I could have crashed. So who knows, really.
I've heard a few people saying it was too fast.
I definitely don't think too fast. I think the speed was sick, but it was too easy to go that fast, if you get me. Like it could have had some harder features. So if you wanted to go that speed, you definitely had to. I think they should just race the old track, to be honest, and sack off that one. Like I was in Andorra a week ago, and it's like they should just sack off that. You want to race us on that one.
I don't think they can they? Yeah, it's something to do with the finish line and building or something like that.
Max Commonsel's new office.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of reasons why, and it's just it's a shame. It'd be a pretty cool hill for that one, but solid race.
I've raced the old track a few times. It's fucking unreal.
So I raced the old one twice in the Masters Worlds, and I remember the first time. I'll never forget the first time I raced it because I was getting arm pump in the quali. So I decided that what I'd do was I would wind the levers in a little bit just to try and relieve a bit of the arm pump. And I got coming into the bottom section, the really steep bit, they just pulled back. They pulled back to the bar.
Disappear.
I had to ride the entire bottom bit, just like foot out to try and slow me down. It was terrifying.
Just tripoding.
Tripoding. Yeah, I know. Oisin, wasn't your weekend?
No.
But it was. No. Did you approach it differently? Did you go all in?
I definitely went all in. I'm quite like Ronan has like a couple of cans of Red Bull caffeine. I'm quite the opposite. Like I might have half a can of Monster, and that like I don't really drink caffeine. So half the can of Monster is usually me maxed out. That's me caffeine.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I got way too excited and drank like a can and a half of Monster, and took like this caffeine, like this energy gel that I take, but I asked the team physio, oh, give me the one with the caffeine in it as well. So I took the gel with caffeine along like 3 times the amount of Monster I usually have. And I was warming up on the turbo, like buzzing, way too excited. Like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill the first corner. Like, got like way too much. Out the start gate, and I did think I made it like just past the first split. So yeah, that was that done. I was like, well, I should have known that was going to happen. I've had too much caffeine before, and I know exactly what happens, and that was it again. So yeah, Leger and Andorra back-to-back crashes.
But at least with Worlds, it's if you're not in the top 3, it's kind of
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So moving on to Ludenville, Ronan 5th with a crash, 4 seconds off the win, slid down with the bike, didn't let go of it. Do you reckon there was 4 seconds there?
Yeah, close anyway. Definitely pretty close. Like I counted it on the GoPro and it was about that 4.5. So yeah, it's pretty close. But then the run after the crash was pretty savage. Kind of again got into that more aggressive mindset. Yeah, that one was definitely a shame it rained, I think, because the way it was looking, I think I was fourth and third in semis and qualies, or the other way around. I don't know what.
There was only one race,
third,
wasn't there?
third in the qualies,
Yeah, and the conditions were looking insane after semi-finals, just the dirt and how well the track fair would have just been a savage dry race, and then it completely pissed down. So yeah, I definitely think I could have had it if I didn't crash, because the run went pretty savage afterwards. But who knows really? It's definitely a bit. Right. Yeah, definitely a bit bittersweet again, but it's nice to get back on the podium, I suppose. So yeah, couldn't complain, but yeah, I should have watched. I should have watched people more, really, see if anyone crashed on that turn. So it was a bit annoying.
Yeah, okay. Oisin 6th, you were fastest in the final sector. Big old nose wheelie into the final turn, getting everybody nervous. Probably yourself as well. Were you happy with that 6th?
I thought it was actually quite a good run. Ronan knocked me off the podium. I think he was the last guy that came down to push me off the podium, but I was actually quite happy, like, to get down, to be honest, just to get down after having a crash in my last 2 race runs. Obviously, when you've crashed in 2 race runs previous, it's like kind of on your mind, I suppose you could say, or in the back of your mind saying, I at least need to get, the last thing I wanted to do was have another crash going into the block, being away like in America and Canada, knowing that I've crashed in the last 3 race runs. So it was kind of like, I at least need to put down some sort of a steady run, which in the rain it was hard, but at the same time I done it, and 6th place again, another top 10, which I was happy about. But for sure. I didn't even realize, I don't think, or I forgot that I won the last sector.
Yeah, okay. So when it does rain, for both of you, is it like, whoa, here we go? Are you both happy when it happens?
I think so. Like I prefer dry races, to be fair, just because it's like all flat out. But yeah, the wet, like, I mean, after crashing in Leger and getting the 8th and stuff, I just know this, like, we can win it. Like, I think out of us 2, we're definitely like the best, kind of the best riders in the wet, really. And it is sick putting on the road off deck peak extender and then just fucking swinging off it. It is like when a good run's going good in the wet, it's the best. It is savage, to be fair. But at that stage of the World Cups, there was a lot of wet races, and you're kind of like, right, I just want another dry one. You can just swing off the bike like Andorra, kind of, or Poland, and but
How much of it do you think is mindset with the wet?
I think a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think so many people are like, oh no, it's raining. Oh, let's pack the bikes up. We're done for the day. Let's cancel practice. Like, there was actually quite a lot of that going on in Ludenville in the riders group chat of people giving out, like, saying calling each other soft and all sorts of stuff in the riders group chat.
Yeah,
and it was all kicking off. But yeah,
I think that was me calling people soft in the group chat, to be fair. Yeah, the Ludenville, that one kind of annoyed me, to be fair. The way the race was going with practice and stuff getting called off early. Because, yeah, it was just raining. They called our practice off and stuff. And yeah, that was a bit annoying, to be fair. So I think that had me fired up, to be fair, to put down a heavy race run after those practice they called off. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, but Ludenville was savage in the wet, to be fair. It was steep, so you can just keep, the bike just wants to move as well.
Yeah, for sure. So as you said, Oisin, we then move over to North America for that block. And you both did the US Open at Killington Lake. Third for you, Oisin, and Ronan, you were 10th. How was that then?
I enjoyed it. I know Ronan was hating it because I was with him in every run. Or not hating it, but didn't like it as much. But like, I
dropped
suppose
me every run. Dude, I was doing practice.
My bike rolling so fast, like I said before, like it was quite a flat track. So like my bike was just, and the 29er, I wasn't having to put in as much work as other riders to carry the same speed. And I know I like Leogang, I suppose you could say in the middle is quite flat. I'm maybe just okay at carrying speed. I actually wouldn't say I'm the best, but I think it's the bike compensates it. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Was I second in the qualifying?
Yes, second. Second,
yeah. The prize money, I was definitely aiming for a small bit. I was like, yeah, that prize money is going to be nice.
Tasty, yeah.
Straight into the GTI.
Yeah, fuel in the car.
Nice. Are you both kind of looking at doing more of those Monster Cups next year, or is it something that's just a little additional that when you can, you will?
Not at that track, no. I think I'll skip that race. I was actually, that was one of the races I let the mindset get the best of me, and I was just soft fella. Yeah. No, it's sick, really cool series. Like I was talking to the guy who runs it, and he's like, he's definitely turned on and how it's done, and it's savage series. I just could not ride that track to save my life. I was practicing with Oisin every run, but I was riding by myself because he just fucking dropped me. And then I had like 3 crashes all at the exact same spot. I like crashed, pushed up, and then crashed again. And I don't know what's wrong with the American soil, but like when you like bust open the elbow and the muck gets in it, it just instantly gets infected, I think, because it's like, that race I was just being a sore fella and
Trump's putting something in the water.
Yeah, I know.
Soil.
We couldn't drink the water.
Foreigners get infected.
But yeah, it's a cool series. But yeah, I'm shocking at flat stuff and carrying speed. So I just kind of, the motor whoops are sick though. I enjoyed that. That was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So then we moved on to Mont Saint Anne. Ronan, you were Q5, semi-6th, and then 10th. Happy with final World Cup of the year?
Yeah, like with qualies and semis, I was happy, like, because it was dry and it was just so fast. Like the pace was sick, and I think everybody was all the boys were just swinging on it because it was the last race, and it was kind of like a little battle, I suppose, between me and Finn for third and overall because we were 7 points in the difference. So that was kind of cool coming into that. Like definitely a bit stressful, I suppose, because I wanted to get top 5 overall and being that so close. But yeah, it was looking to be a sick battle, and obviously then it rained again. And the run was going really good actually, and then I went off track around middle, so that was a bit annoying. Like I didn't go outside the poles, but I definitely stalled up in the middle woods. So yeah, it would have been nice to finish on a podium, but yeah, I went off a little bit. But yeah, it's good. Still happy to finish in the 4th overall, which was the main goal really.
Does it still feel a little bit surreal to be saying what you just said, battling with Finn Isles for
it's pretty
in the overall, or are you just used to it now?
No, it's pretty sick. Actually, well, none of us got the 3rd in overall because Troy came.
Oh, Troy snuck in, but you're in the battle.
It was looking to be a sick one because I think like I said to him after, I was like, it's a shame it rained because like it would have been sick just because how fast that track goes in the dry. It's crazy quick. But yeah, it would have been pretty sick. But yeah, it was definitely a dream to finish that in overall. But yeah, it was pretty sick.
And then Ocean, talk us through your weekend. Obviously 15th and then 65th. Some kind of red flag action, was there, or something?
Yeah, it was how Mont Saint Anne was actually. I actually enjoyed Mont Saint Anne. It was my second time there, so I actually haven't been Mont Saint Anne
Is
that
that
many
all?
times.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like last year was my first time after the win in
After COVID,
Snowshoe.
I suppose, yeah.
So yeah, it was 15th in qualifying, which I was like, oh, it's average. Obviously, before like I would have been happy with that, but
Yeah.
like unless you're inside the top 10 or top 5, like you're happy if you're inside the top 10, but unless you're not really that happy unless you're top 5 or whatever. So I was like, okay, give it some more berries for semis. And there's actually a video of the crash. I still don't know what went wrong. Rode the line exactly how I rode it every practice run. Rode it exact same way as everyone else. Fabian Burrell was there and Cedric Gracia, and they were like, wow, we did not see that coming at all. They were just staring at me on the ground like, oh, that was unexpected. So yeah, it was just like someone just grabbed my front wheel and pulled it from out underneath me. So that was that weekend.
If the Frenchies were there, maybe they did.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
stranger things have happened.
an invisible rope just pulling at my front wheel. But yeah, I suppose in one way I was actually pretty pissed off at that because I wanted to end the season on a high, especially after coming in from a podium at the US Open the week before. I was feeling good. But again, I suppose that kind of brings you into the off season with a bit of hunger, ending the season on a low if you put it into the right mentality.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the rest of what we've got written here in the script, I don't really need to touch on because we've talked about loads of it. But what I will read out is Ronan, 4th in the overall. Congratulations there.
Cheers.
You've talked about that and you're happy with that. Ocean, 13th.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably not particularly happy with that. What where do you guys kind of aim for now in that overall? That's something we've not talked about yet.
Yeah, I suppose at the start of the year, like I was saying, the goals were do another podium, consistent top 10, and top 15 the overall is actually what I wrote down.
Okay, so you got it then.
So I suppose at the end of the year, like with me being inside the top 10 at one stage, I was like, yeah, I want to secure being inside the top 10 for the rest of the season for the overall. But at the same time, I still achieved the goal that I put out at top 15.
Yeah,
so I can't be
you've
2
got
and
to be
9.
happy then. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And for both of you, where does that look next year? George, I might be stealing something that's not in the script, but I'm too eager to know what's the overall targets from you boys for next year. Is that something that's you're willing to share, or?
I think for me, getting the top 4 in the overall, like it'd be just stupid not to aim your sights higher. I'm not like I wouldn't say to win the overall, but yeah, top 3 overall would be the goal anyway. I think this year I definitely threw away a lot of podiums or wins, or not a lot of wins, but like a win and a few podiums by just being a little bit stupid on my riding. So thankfully this winter I have my downhill bikes a lot earlier, and yeah, it's a long off season of training and I'm more comfortable with the bike and the team. So I think I definitely know what I need to do. But yeah, I think top 3 overall and just be always consistent podiums really would be the goal. And then I think world champs as well, with it being a more difficult track and like a more separating track, it'd be cool to why not have another You Don't Know Me Son, or try and get some rainbow stripe. Really, it'd be pretty cool, because it'd be a shame not to, I think, on that track to go like balls to the wall already. But yeah, I think I suppose just be cool to be consistent podiums and then just be more fighting for wins really if we're not on the podium. So it'd be cool to it looks like a sick season as well. The more races is better, or like sick races, new calendars is sick as well. So a few new venues is pretty cool to have. Yeah.
Awesome. Ocean.
I suppose I got 1 podium last year. I'd definitely like to be on the top step again. So main goal would be win another race and get a few more podiums, more than 1 anyway, would be the main goal. And to be that inside that top 10 the overall for most of the season and finish inside there.
Sick. Love it.
Yeah.
So the idea for this episode, getting the both of you on together, came from one of the guys I race with, James Hughes, who's ex-elite rider, now vet rider, great rider, Masters World Champion. And I messaged him earlier this week to thank him for the idea and tell him it was on. And I asked him if he had any questions for you both. And I just want to close out this section with that. And so he said to ask Oisin for your most embarrassing story about Ronan. Don't worry, Ronan, it's coming back in a second, so you can have a think.
There's a few there, I'd say.
Yeah, there's quite a few from both of our sides.
We're not live. Test the water.
Definitely on a night out or something. There's some horrific videos and photos that we both have of each other. Between whether it's lying in a flower bed somewhere or like
Grafton Street
upside down, and God only knows where. Like, we have them all.
And Ronan, is there any particular one of Oisin?
I suppose he's pretty good on a quad bike, I suppose.
Oh God.
What? Tell us the quad bike. What's the quad bike story?
We can't get into details on that one. That one is I can tell you. We can tell you in person, maybe after a few drinks. That one is not on the Zoom. There's no way where we can go that in depth on that one.
I think you've said enough. Everybody can just use their imagination from there on.
Yeah,
mine's going mad.
Just for anybody who isn't watching, I think Ronan's actually crying here.
Oh, that's brilliant. But I think there's definitely been some fucking. I think after the horse races, me and Oisin got suited up. I went into the city pretty well, and there's some good videos of us walking around the city. Full suits. It's pretty good.
Cool. Well, we'll be back with more after these messages. Let's have a quick chat about the future. Obviously, some huge changes taking place in the sport at the moment. As factory riders kind of coming into your prime right now, it's not going to affect either of you a huge amount, I don't think. But what are your thoughts on everything that's happening at the moment?
I think I suppose it's all looking kind of good just for upping the sport, I suppose. But then I think without feeder series is kind of the problem with them cutting down the numbers so much. Yeah. I think the numbers definitely need to be cut down just more on track, how much the tracks get destroyed. I kind of use Hardline as an example just because since there's only 30 of us or 40 of us racing, the tracks stay in sick condition and they're pretty prime the whole week. They're not getting, but then while some other races they get cut up, which is nice for racing, but they kind of go beyond a certain level. But I don't think they can cut the numbers down without having a proper feeder series for other riders to go to. I know there's the IXS Cups, which are still a savage series, but I think Eurosport should be making it so riders could still make a living if they're at the top of that series and you work your way up to the World Cups, really. But I think the Q1 and Q2 for qualifying I think that's a pretty good idea. I think that'll be pretty sick having that, because it'd be nice to, if you do your job, you get to sit out a run and finish the day early, and then if you don't, you get another chance to go, and the no protection as well is quite cool. I think it's pretty sick.
What are your thoughts on 3-rider podiums?
No, I don't like the 3-rider podiums. I think I don't see the point when the sport's always had 5. What's it really going to make a difference for taking away 2 riders? And it's to get a podium on 3 is pretty savage. And then I don't know why keep the 5.
Yeah. Shane, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I suppose the whole thing. Me and Ronan are quite in a lucky position to be on factory teams already. We weren't out of contract. Well, I actually was. I re-signed halfway through. We're both lucky to be on factory teams that are racing World Cups next year, so at least we're not one of because there's quite a few riders that aren't going to be able to race next year. But the whole thing, obviously more races is, I see as a benefit. It gives the riders more of a chance to, if the season's not going great at the start, to turn it around halfway through. You have more races to get that podium or that win that you're looking for. So it kind of not leaves off some pressure, but at least there's some time if it's not going well or you have an injury maybe. But like Ronan was saying, the qualifying thing is good. I like that. Less riders on track. It seems to be always a reoccurring issue that the track's getting too destroyed. So hopefully that issue will be fixed. And yeah, the podium thing, I don't know if I have an opinion on it. I suppose next year when it actually comes into place, I'll make my mind up. But I've never actually really been fourth or fifth in a World Cup. But I know next year if I'm fourth or fifth, I'm going to be raging because that podium's not going to be there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I suppose, yeah.
So yeah, me and Jack we recorded the intro last night, and I think one of the things when I was researching that there's over 400 riders with 40 UCI points now, with over 40 UCI points. So the numbers on track are just, the numbers who could have raced the old ways just getting more and more and more. So they obviously had to cull it.
Oh, Ronan's dead right. It had to be reduced.
But I think that approach that you had, Ron, and the way that you came into the sport, I don't know if that's going to be possible anymore.
Well, a lot of
they
people
need to develop the feeder series.
Yeah,
like that's the problem.
Of people, yeah, like a lot of people used me as an example for the approach, but like my first race, my first qualifying, I got 22nd, and then I got 29th. So I think like that would have been me in regardless. But then also, I think with the feeder series, I also used this example when I was a junior. I think I went to 4 World Cups my first year, and I didn't qualify for a single one, or maybe World Champs. So that's thousands being spent for me just to go to the race and do 6 runs and then not qualify. While I could have done an IXS Cup, done more practice, got a race, and saved my parents thousands of euros. So thankfully, I was in a position where my parents obviously helped me. But I mean, if I did the IXS Cups, which I kind of should have, instead of, because I just did the World Cups, so because I could say I could do them, and I could say I raced the World Cup, even though I kind of knew I wasn't gonna place anywhere amazing.
But you're not going to be able to do that anymore. People aren't just going to be able to turn up and give it a try, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I think
which is fair enough. I
definitely think that's a shame. But I think if there's a good feeder series and then riders can do test the water, and if they're like, right, I've done well at this, and then they have the points or something, I think so. But there isn't that yet, so I can't really. I think that's unfair not to have that series. And then also, like, if there is a good feeder series, like, even if you're not making it to World Cups, you could still be making some sort of money being a top elite at those races, which would be cool to see. And those races being televised as well, which like Crankworks, and like it'd be pretty sick to see those races get televised. But yeah, I think it just needs a good feeder series for that example, really.
And I think it's one of them. I think it's a shame that the people at the top of the sport at the moment haven't done that. They haven't worked from the ground up to create that. I totally agree with most of the changes that they've done to the World Cups. I think it needed to happen. It needed to make the sport more professional, and in the long run, it will benefit the sport, and it will benefit riders like yourselves. But just because that hasn't been done, it doesn't mean it can't happen. Teams like mine, other riders that are now stepping back from World Cups, if they go to European Cups, if they go to Monster Cups, compete, run teams, the sport will lift itself, because nobody's going anywhere. Everybody loves racing. Everybody loves watching racing, talking about racing. So my message to everybody who's looking at what's going on and worrying about it, fucking don't. Like, you are in control, just like I am. And I've made my team bigger. We're doing Portugal Cups, European Cups, and we're not getting put off by the fact that the people at the top of the sport are making it more difficult. You've just got to keep going. Just keep grafting. And if everybody does that, I'm confident the sport will get bigger all the way through. So that's my take.
No, I think it's a tricky one for sure. Because everybody wants, I suppose, different things as well. So it's hard to cater for everybody, really. But totally. I think the feeder series is the main thing. More hardline races as well would be good as well.
Definitely. Is that me or you now, mate?
I think it's you, mate.
Chatty. That's me there. I'm in. So Oisin, as you just mentioned, re-signed with YT until 2027. Do you feel like, especially with the changes we've just been talking about, do you feel like that gives you a lot of security moving forward to just relax and race?
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously I've spent 2 years as a junior and now 3 years as an elite. I've decided to spend re-sign for another 3 years. There was quite a few options, which at one stage I was actually quite close to going down a new path, but I'm glad I didn't.
We trekking on a new path.
We're a bit close. All right.
He was
Very
hiking.
close at one stage.
hiking on a new path.
Hiking a new path. Yeah.
Climbing at one stage almost. But yeah, I've ended up staying where I am. Obviously, team, like, they promised me loads of stuff, and they've come through. There's quite a lot of changes on the team side for next year. Like, obviously last year I could see they were investing heavily. New truck, like the truck that we have now is like, they ain't gonna spend that unless they're going all in. And with how many team camps they've planned already for after January, I know that they're going giving it their all. Like, it's all kind of going all in. Like, before, you kind of say it was a media team, while now they're definitely going after the performance side of stuff as well. Nice. Which is why I decided to re-sign. And I'm comfortable there. I get on with my mechanic. Everything's super chill. I know everything works. So yeah, for me, there was, in the end, choice. It was the exact same offer, so I stayed where I was.
Nice. And then there's rumours that you could potentially have a new teammate. Would it be pretty handy if somebody came in to be your teammate and, came in alongside you, or would you rather be alone?
I'm
not going to say their name because
very
I know
handy.
You wouldn't be able to
very handy.
But would you like a new teammate? Or?
Yeah, it's something I've been asking for the last 2 years. To have another elite rider. Like, as a junior, I had Angel Suarez, David Trummer, and Dakota Norton. Like, huge help as a junior. Obviously, I'd say more so than being like a fourth year as an elite rider now. Like, as a junior, they helped out big time, helped me along. While now to have a new elite rider alongside that, we can do runs. I already do quite a bit of runs with him, but to be on the same team and everything is going to be it's team camp and everything coming into the off season is just going to be so much more enjoyable having another fast male with me.
Cool. Sounds good. When is this? You've mentioned some team camps. When is your first one?
First one is the last week of January.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. And then last question from me. Any ideas what Mr. Jack Moir's up to next year? Is he back doing DH, or can you tell us anything about what his future is?
I was threatening I could almost ring him up now because it'll be his morning. We could get him on the show right now.
Cool.
But no, he's not coming to DH next year. I think he's going to stay with Enduro for that last season. You could say people are saying like Enduro only has that one more year. I think he's just going to give it his all. But yeah, I'm sure he's aiming, especially after him coming off his first win in almost, was it 2 years or something in Enduro? I'm sure he's looking to try and get, I know he was probably aiming for that rainbow jersey in Enduro, so we'll probably go for that.
Okay, fair enough. Ronan, we're not sure about it, but we talked in the intro about Heather Wilson possibly moving to Mondraker. Any insight you can give us there?
I thought I heard rumors, but I don't know. I actually do not talk to my team manager much about this stuff, to be honest, really. I just get the bikes and get the team camps and
drinks the Red Bull. And drinks the Red Bull.
Yeah, literally, that's all I get into. No, I heard the rumors, but I'm not actually 100% sure what's going on there. She definitely knows how to ride a bike. So, but I think Mondraker also have the development, the young guns, and that's like the development team until they're elite riders, really. So that's kind of on that side, really.
So we came into 2024 thinking the battle for the overall was probably going to be between Loic, Amory, and Jackson. Obviously, Jackson got injured, but are you thinking those are the three you'd have to beat in 2025 to win it?
Who else? I think Lachlan Stevens will be good as well. He's definitely he knows how to ride a bike as well.
Many of you know.
He's like two years behind you. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's following a really similar path. He's wild.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. There's just so many people. Like somebody
Matt
could just have a good
Walker's going to come out swinging next year.
Yeah, Matt Walker as well.
That move to Trek is going to change things.
Yeah, I heard he's got a team. I was riding with Charlie over a week ago doing some testing, and Charlie's back on the bike swinging off it as well. So there's just it's pretty crazy how fast everyone can go. Yeah. No idea.
Cool. Well, I think you've both been doing some motor. Are you back in both back in full training now?
Back in.
Yeah. Who's faster on the motor?
Ronan, I'd say. Yeah.
I'm pretty sketchy though. I've nearly ended my season pretty early on that fucking thing. Like moto's great crack, but they're
you shouldn't be allowed one of them. I said this to you last time. I think last time you did the podcast, exactly 2 years ago. I think I said no. Stop that.
I got myself a 350, and I think it was like the first week into the off season or something. I tried hit some like doubles, and I was getting a bit too cocky, and the thing completely stepped out, and I thought I broke my femur for a second. So all good. I just bruised up my leg real bad, but they're great fun. But I'm just when you try and push, then you realize how shite you are, and you need to stand on your toes. But they're good crack. They're great fun to ride, and just dangerous machines.
They're actually I had a heart rate monitor on one day when I was going out around, and I think I done like a 15-minute session, a 20-minute, and another 15. And the heart rate monitor at the end from the Garmin said I was between 190 and 205 beats a minute for the whole way through all the sessions.
Jesus,
you're never going to be able to hit your heart rate around 200 for 20 minutes. No matter in the gym, you ain't going to hold it that high.
No. So I did it 10 years ago.
It has some benefits.
When I was competing properly, and it was mint. One for getting used to speed, because back then was when downhill tracks were just starting to transition into all the really fast ones. So it was right, let's go and ride some motorbikes and get used to that. But then, like you just said, the fitness element, it was. I couldn't believe how intense it was to be out there for 20 minutes, and I was shit, so it was even more intense.
It's for the just the overall fitness standpoint, I think it's savage, and it's cool just to ride something with an engine as well. They're just cool. They just sound sick. Even if I just stand there revving the thing, I have great fun. So let alone riding the bike.
So plans for the new year? Obviously, you've got hardline again, Ronan.
Yeah.
Are you both heading out to New Zealand, or are you just team camp local, Oisin?
Oisin. I'm heading down to Queenstown in about 9 days. So looking forward to that. I'll be down there for a month before hardline. Just go down there and just downhill every day, really. And that seems to do the job. And come home when the bikes are gone or dead, and come back for a team camp then, I think in mid-February after hardline.
Cool. Shane?
Yeah, I'm still in two minds of whether I'm going or not. I reckon I might go for a small, not like a crazy long trip, 2 or 3 weeks to Queenstown. I enjoyed it last year. That was the first time. So, and Jack Meyer actually messaged me the other day saying, am I heading back to Queenstown this year? He'd be maybe interested in going. So that's definitely got me thinking again about kind of going. So I just need to plan it a bit more.
Nice.
Cool. Well, have a good one, boys. Last question. Tell us a bit about the DAC stack, Ronan. Have you tried it?
No, I actually didn't. Haven't really given it a go, to be fair. I still run 40 mil bars, but then also I run a lower bottom bracket than Dakota. We can adjust our BB heights. So I run a lower BB, so it doesn't equal out as much as him, but it gets close. No, I don't think I'd go that high. I'm already bad enough as it is for tucking the front end, and I don't need any more excuses for doing that. So maybe for a laugh at a team camp I will, but
you never know. You might love it.
Yeah, never
you
know.
should put a picture. You should put a picture up at the team camp of your photo, of a picture of your bike on your Instagram story.
It'll blow up.
Oh yeah, everybody will be.
I'll see if Alibaba has any 100 mil bars or something, and just whack them on for the crack.
Yeah. And maybe go 600 wide or something like that, just for the crack, just to Get
Who
people
knows?
talking.
Could be the missing link, to be fair.
Could be. Well, thanks very much to both of you for making the time. It's been ace watching you both climb to the top of the sport, and long may it continue. Have a great Christmas and 2025.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
You too.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
Good luck
you,
next
guys.
year.
Thanks
Be
for
rooting
having us.
you.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
Nice
one, boys. Right, that's all we've got time for. Thank you to everyone for listening this year, to Jack and Emmy and all the guests and all the sponsors, and to all the people who've come up for a chat at the races. It's been another amazing year. Have a fabulous Christmas and New Year, everyone. If you're enjoying the podcast, I'm sure you know what to do by now. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you've got a sec, please drop us a review. Alternatively, please give us a follow on Instagram at Making Up the Numbers Racing or facebook.com/makingupthenumbers. We'll be back in 2025.